on the blue side and Impunity, of course, on the red side. Coming through in the first phase of bans, I don't think the side of Renegades will remove that of Saw or Chan Walker. They'll probably want to leave it for themselves, but more probably those matter, like those rhyme. Yes, there you go, we do see a rhyme. And as for Impunity, they can't easily just ban out the Black Feather because they do not want to have Renegades. They do not allow Renegades to have it. So that's the first phase of bans. What do you think Renegades will prioritize this time? Do you think the Saw will be picked up almost immediately or immediately?
No, they don't need to pick Saw first because they can second ban it. They're going to pick the Ardent, so obviously Renegades will be expecting a Churnwalker pick from Impunity, and so Impunity have the decision of either, yeah, we're going to do it, we're going to trust that you do not have a counter play to our Churnwalker, or Impunity are going to go for, okay, we won't pick it, but no, they're going to go for it. I'm happy that they've gone for it. I think that's the best decision for them. They're so good with playing Churnwalker, and they're going to, once again, ban Tacker, just ban that counter pick to their Saw. And so, what is the play for Renegades? Are they going to try a counter? We saw 5-0 first try their Celeste and Fortress counter, and it didn't work. Can Impunity pull something out? And no, can Renegades bring something? Sorry, and no, Renegades cannot. They're going to ban Saw. I like that ban, even though I would have loved to see a Saw being played with this Churnwalker. It makes way more sense for Renegades to not let it through.
Yep, we do see a lot of Saw coming through from the EA, Vainglory 8, EA, East Asia. But we do not quite see in the Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia. However, these two teams are the teams that are bringing Saw back in trend. And so we saw the pushing capabilities of Saw, and it's just such a strong hero right now. And if I remember correctly, I think in one of the EA matches, right, both teams, they were just fighting for the Saw, and the team that generally gets Saw wins the game for themselves. So, very good ban coming through from the side of Renegades, just disallowing the Saw to go through into Impunity. But we do see Impunity or DevQ in particular very comfortable on that Vox as well, and they will secure the Reza for themselves. So if Renegades do go for a very squishy, laner or squishy jungler, Reza can basically just trump them, walk over them, put pressure towards them in the early game.
This is an almost identical draft for Impunity game. They picked up Churnwalker, banned Tacker, and they picked Reza. And now their last pick can be a Vox if they decide to try and counter Reza with Rona. But they're not. Renegade's going to be smart. They're going to pick the Vox for themselves, deny it away from Impunity. And obviously Kestrel is still available. Pretty good against Vox. In a 1v1, Kestrel has outrange, and Reza's quite good at diving in onto Vox. But it all depends on what that last pick from Renegades is. There's lots of options. I'd like to see something like Alpha. Vox Alpha works really well together. Reza does not counter Alpha at all. Alpha does well against Reza because you have that ultimate, you have that reboot, which means Reza's never going to burst you down unless you miss your ultimate, which I wouldn't expect from Renegades. So I think that's a smart pick. Ozo, again, could work well against Reza and Churnwalker, but it's really a comfort pick for Renegades deciding what they want to go. I don't think going for a squishy like Celeste would make sense. I definitely think it's going to be a Bruiser.
Yep, a Bruiser will make the most sense coming into this draft itself. And as mentioned, the only Bruiser, the only CP carry I can think for Renegades to pick up really is that Alpha, especially with that Brian being taken out in the first phase of ban. So that Alpha will come in clutch for the side of Renegades, and with the speed boost as well. But no, Renegades, they will go for that Fortress. And we did see 501st Legion actually using this Fortress to go up against Impunity's Reza. Didn't quite work out, so I'm quite interested to see how Renegades will play this Fortress. And we did see also coming out from 501st Legion, as long as they are not pressured in this early game, Fortress will definitely have the damage going up against Reza or the team of Impunity in that of the mid to late game. Once that he has got the level 6, he has got the ultimate available.
Yeah, I think that Fortress is not a great pick. Renegades have decided to go for it, similar to what 5-0 first did, as you said. But I really think that Fortress just isn't that good at the moment. He doesn't have very much damage. If Fox dies, Renegades have lost the fight. There's no question about that. So All that Impunity have to do is they have to focus the right target. If they focus Vox and kill him, they can ignore Fortress, and he's going to be pretty useless. But Petal, we're being told, is the last pick by Impunity. So that weapon Petal does quite well against Fortress. If Fortress jumps in, Petal can jump away. You'll kill wolves very quickly because you have high attack speed. So those wolves are going to go down really quickly with a weapon Petal. It's a smart pick. I think Impunity are slightly ahead in draft, mainly because they have 2 heroes that can win the fight, whereas Renegades have only got 1. All their eggs are in the Vox basket.
Yep, we can basically just visualize how the fights will turn out. You have Reza just jump back into the back lines, take Vox out, and Fortress don't have the best pilling, capabilities amongst all the heroes. At least for Alpha, you force the entirety of Impunity to just jump on you because of the immense amount of damage that you are putting out. But as for Fortress, you are just going to jump in. You are going to use your ultimate for that 45 health, and that's about what you can do. And for the fact that the side of Impunity, they do not quite have healing heroes, your Mortal Wound is not going to do much or affect the side of Impunity anyways when you are on this Fortress and Vox. So I'm with you. I think Impunity definitely have the upper hand in terms of draft.
Yeah, but we are going to wait and find out, see how Impunity are going to... If they can dive the Vox, or if the Vanguard, even double Vanguard from Echo, will be too much. Vox will sustain, and if Vox survives the fight, he'll build up his breaking point stacks. He'll be a menace to try and deal with. But we are now loading into the house to unfold for the first game of this finals. Let us know who you think is going to win in the chat. Is it going to be Renegades or is it going to be Impunity? I'm really looking forward to this game. And obviously, Fortress does struggle early game with that jungle clear, and that's something that Bluxty can try and capitalize on, as we saw him do fantastically on it just before.
Yep, and it has been a while since we last saw Renegades going up against Impunity for the finals, at least. And this will mean a lot because now if Impunity do win this game, and 2 games or so, they will gain themselves 8 points. No, 2 games, sorry, 4 points, and they will be above of Renegades in terms of point standings if they do. But now Impunity very aggressive.
Bluxty jumping in the protector contract from SNK and the giving Spaghetti a pretty much barrier at this point. But Impunity going to rotate back towards that Elder Tree, and they're happy to just not win the fight if they can get a bit of farm away. But interesting rotation from Renegade. They're going as 3 to push this wave up, try and make Petal lose a little bit of CS. And he's now going to backport. But Bluxty, once again, the same rotation from him as Reza, straight to the backs. He left the front. Sorry, I thought he left the Elder. He left the camp. And so he is not going to get a base cap. But Fortress didn't port. He was stopped by the port. Now Reza is going to get his entire jungle. Look how slow Fortress was taking it. Now Reza is going to be so much quicker. Get these camps. Probably going to back off because he would have been told by his team that Fortress ported home. So really nice play from Impunity. Getting themselves ahead. And that's something that I love Bluxty for doing. He does it so well on Reza.
Yep, and we saw Blue City on this Reza just was so very aggressive in that first game, or rather in that game with Impunity going up against 500 first, and it was just so very difficult for 500 first to just farm up and get items. At the end game, we saw Reza sitting at 80 CS and the Rona only at 30 CS. So maybe Uni have to reconsider, the rotations coming through, because if he continues just allowing Reza to just invade and take and remove his farm, it will be very, very bad. Blue City maybe spotting Uni out, but Uni will just spot himself.
Blue City's like, right, I don't care. I'm going to get you backs again. He's timing. Blue City knows exactly as well as his own, and now Fortress is like, oh, I've just lost 2 back rotations, let's do a fight, and I'm going to lose this. Bluxty doing a lot of damage. Fortress is starting to win the fight, but Bluxty is going to get that troublemaker and the basic attack. Looks like Bluxty is going to go ahead. There's the Scorcher. Basic SNK is going to try and come through. The healing flask is enough. Quarterbar is going to come through with some chains as well. Bluxty is going to be able to get a lot of damage onto SNK. Chain is going to push that damage onto Uni as well. SNK is going to take a bit of poke, and Uni's going to fall. Protector contract is not quite enough. Bluxi's going to go quite low. Voxes wants to rotate, and Uni's so low but unable to get to be taken down. Now Bluxy will kill SNK if SNK decides to fight it, because he got that healing tree in. Going to jump over the wall and get another tree in if Bluxy wants to, and that's just the power of this Reza. Even early game, he's such a strong hero. He does fall off towards the later stages of the game, but Fortress cannot contest his jungle. If he does, Reza's like, okay, I'll just fight you. I've got a Churnwalker, going to win this fight, and now, once again, Impunity, 1k gold ahead.
Yeah, but we do know that, Fortress, as a hero, his build is super economical. So you don't have to quite work with a very large amount of gold to make him very effective, because his effectiveness generally comes at his level 6. Uni trying to take his farm back from Blue City, but Blue City will just secure both of his back and easily just walk away.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, even though Uni knew exactly what Bluxy was doing, there was nothing he could do about it. Bluxy, with that Aftershock, basically picked up because of his kit. If you get that Scorcher, next basic attack will deal massive damage. You'll be able to burst pretty much anything in the early game, unless you're up against a Crawl. I think Reza can secure minions better than anyone else, as long as you just practice it, know how to actually do it. 4 minutes 23 seconds in, Bluxy hits level 6, has that Netherform Detonator. Once again, 2 levels ahead of the enemy jungler. That's the problem with Fortress. Too slow at farm clear, too slow at farm secure, so that even if he fights, Reza's able to get the farm. And also, Reza can run away by just running over walls. Reza's so good at that. Now, what is Bluxy going to do? Before, he went towards the Sentry and started trying to take that out. Now, Uni is going to be able to get his jungle because Reza can't do it. But this time, he's going to go to lane, try and focus Spaghetti. I'm sure Spaghetti will know something's up, because Fortress is like, hey, Bluxy's not taking my farm. He's probably an end, and that's Resonance Bounce. So that Pulse will spot him out.
Yep, the Pulse will spot him out, and Blue City may just want to back off here. But then Uni is still not too shabby at level 5. One more clear, one more rotation will probably get him up to level 6. But it's just, once again, like you mentioned, 1 level or 2 levels behind that of Blue City. And Blue City, as we can tell, already inching ever so closely to that level 7. Will have that extra damage, extra level, extra health as well. But then we do not see quite a lot of aggression coming through. There is a pattern, there is this thing between Renegades and Impunity. Even if they do have the lead, they generally play super passively when they are up against each other. And it is just so weird to see, because it's quite obvious that Blue City have got the upper hand right now. But once again, we don't see any form of aggression coming through.
Speaking of aggression, the turret is going to go down. Best timing of the Caster's Curse I think we've seen today. There's been some good ones, but that is nice from Impunity. Before you've even finished your sentence, they're starting to take that tier 1 turret down. Now Impunity looking to try and be a bit more aggressive. They have the jungle control now because they took that tier 1 turret. Uni going to get bursted down by Bluxy. He wants the tree. He's going to get it. No, Uni secures that. Bluxy unable to get that empowered basic attack off. One chain. He's going to be hit by Quarterbar. Second one. Onto the Sentry, but there's the attack of the fact used by Fortress. Sentry's going to go down. But no, he's not. Yes, it will to the petal. And now Spaghetti is going to be going quite low. And Reza gets the kill. No, Churnwalker somehow gets the kill with the 6 damage a second of the chain or something similar to that. And Impunity, even though they're up against a minion candy wave, should get this tier 2 turret as well. Impunity don't need a sword to push turrets. They can just do Reza and Petal. And this tier 2 turret is going to fall 6 minutes 45 in.
Yep, and you mentioned as well, Petal worked very similarly to that of Saw, right? In a sense where you just basically just stand there and basic attack. Of course, you start to step along the way as well. But generally, that is what Death Q on this weapon Petal will do for the entirety of the game. You will not see any crazy spontaneous combustion damage. Death Q will probably only use it for healing, and that's about it. But the side of Impunity, definitely looking very, very strong for themselves. Only picking up 1 kill. Right, 7 minutes in, just 1 kill, but already sitting at 4k in terms of gold lead over to the side of RNG. And Fortress, yes, very good when you get your wolves, when you get your dogs running alongside you, but it's just not enough, especially with the early game team comp coming through from the side of Impunity. And one thing, you can actually play Churnwalker generally in 2 manners, right? You can go for that push comp, we see Impunity just so very good at. If not, you can try the engage comp with Churnwalker, which we saw Impunity pull out as well. Churnwalker and that Fox, pretty much an engage comp. You want to distribute as much damage as possible. But now we are seeing a very different gameplay. They don't have access to the saw, but they have DevQ on this battle, and now RNG forced to back away, but we do not count RNG out of the fight just yet. They are very good at turtling up. They are very good at late game comebacks. So I'm still rooting for them. I'm still hoping they can pull out some sort of miracle, and I do not use miracle very lightly.
They might be able to. Impunity are also masters of this early game aggression. They do it so much. We've seen games finish in 15 minutes. If they could do that against Renegades, that would really make a statement that Impunity might be the new top team for this season and this split even. But that is we're going to have to wait and see what they can do. But working towards Dragon's Eye, no matter how much I tell Bluxty he should build Broken Myth, he thinks Dragon's Eye is a better idea. So they're going to pick that one up most likely once he gets this back rotation. And yeah, as you said, 1 kill. But a 5k gold lead is very impressive. It's not easy to do. They're going to go to a 6k gold lead now with these backs. And it's just something that we haven't seen an awful lot of just counter jungling. Just running to the enemy jungle and seeing if you can take it. Against a fortress, it works so well. The CS difference is double. Bluxty has double Uni's CS, about 30 more. And DefQ similarly about 20 CS more. And now minion candy used. What are Renegades going to do? They want to back off. They do not want to go anywhere near Impunity at this point.
Yep, they do not want to. Spaghetti sitting at a breaking point and a tornado trigger, and that is quite the Spaghetti build. Whenever he plays on this box, a lot of attack speed, very little raw damage or damage in terms of just Sorrow Blade and just a raw sense of damage. And then you look over to DefQ. DefQ just building crit on crit, and now Crystal Sentry being candied as well. I think the entirety of Impunity have to run away. Yeah,
cool. If he gets 4 chains though, I think they're going to win the candy, but he's going to run away. He doesn't know, thinks the candy is too OP, so now they're going to turn it about. 1 chain, it's going to be hit by Quadrivar. He's getting futility of life. So what? He's not going to go down. Bursted down by Bluxty. SNK is the next target after a Uni. Takes a bit of time, but Bluxty gets a double. And RNG tried their best. SNK is going to walk into the loving arms of DefQ on this battle. And he's like, where do I go now? I'm just going to run away, run towards your turret, kill myself under turret, and Petal gets the kill. Not an ace though. SNK did delay long enough to deny the ace, but Impunity just backed off away from the Candy Crystal Sentry and then took a fight. Quadrivar was low, gets a couple of chains, gets utility of life, healed up, Bluxty bursting down the 2 carries, and Impunity looking strong.
Yep, Impunity looking very strong for themselves, but what the side of Renegades maybe have to do is just back off a little, right? I mean, you've minioned the cat, you've minioned your Crystal Sentry, maybe it's time to back off that. Don't try to force a team fight with your Gauntlet, because at this point in time, I don't think the Gauntlet should be used as aggressive as how SNK is using. I mean, yes, they do not know the gold lead Impunity has on them. 4 kills in, 11 minutes in, and Impunity already have a 8k gold lead over the side of RNG, and it's not difficult to achieve. It is not easy to achieve this at all, especially against a team like Renegades. They are a well-known team in Southeast Asia. They played very, very well. They are the top of the charts, and yet Impunity able to score this 8k gold lead just 11 minutes in, even without kills. And yes, you've mentioned it before, it's very difficult to see counter jungling these days, and I think the only reason being is because of the emphasis placed in lane. But because of how well Impunity can just split their aggression and split push, they can just easily achieve this.
Yep, so they are now pushing that gold in, 9,000 gold in the lead at the moment. They want to get another Crystal Sentry charge, but SNK, he has not got any more candies, but he's already prior on the Sentry, but it's going to get down to half health. There's the gauntlet, aggressive, DefQ's going to jump out, he's going to get Leza with another form of destination. Spaghetti going to get stunned up, and that is going to be a lovely lovely ultimate from Quadrivar. He just trespassed through the entire team, gets so many stuns. He's got his Echo up in a couple of seconds. Sentry's eliminated already, and Quadrivar just going to chain up some minions, double torment, and that is going to be an ace. The Bluxty did go down on the Reza, but Impunity don't care. Fox is up, but DefQ's going to get this turret.
Yep, that will be the anchor turret down for the side of RNG. And at this point in time, although I said earlier on I do not count RNG out, but it's just so difficult, especially with Impunity sitting so very close to the 10k lead. And as to
they've got it, yeah, they've got it. They've got it.
Oh, there you have it. There you have it. After clearing out the jungle, after clearing out things, they've got the 10k gold lead. Just now they were shy by about 100 or 200 gold. But then now Impunity just looking so strong. They can easily start out any objective. And if Red RNG wants to try to challenge, try to fight with them over the objective, they will be immediately just blown up. Death Q earlier on, very close to just being taken down by the side of RNG, but Blue City jumped in with the Nether Bomb detonator, was the first to go down. Too bad for Blue City, I must say, but I mean, not a lot of gold given over to RNG anyways. A lot of the gold is sitting on Death Q, 4 kills in, and I'm really impressed by how Impunity is just able to just split focus. Like I mentioned earlier on my point, Impunity able to split focus in that of lane, apply pressure in lane, and apply pressure in that of jungle. Not very easy to do, to be completely honest, but I must say it is just down to draft that the side of Impunity able to achieve this.
Once again, that Impunity want to win with the 15 minutes gauntlet comes down. FQ block out the way for he's going to very low. Lovely ultimate Sherlock, but it's not going to be enough. Luxley is the last man carry standing, and what can Vox do? He's built up to 11, making 1 stacks up to 12. Atlas comes through from Sherlock. He's got some chains. Is Boosty going to do the turnaround? He's going to try it. Spaghetti's going to go quite low, but he's not going to go low enough. Luxley's the last man standing. He's going to run. Troublemaker up in 1 second. Will he be able to get away? He's going to go quite far, but Uni's going to try and turn it around. Luxley is going to get Atlas, and Spaghetti couple of basic attacks. Turnaround ace for Renegade. They get a very empty gold mine, and not a great amount of gold for them in their favour, but they will get the mentality of, we just want to fight, we can win this game.
I mean, they kind of just soften the gold lead the side of Impunity have over them, and they might just look to push this turret, but they do not have the wave on their side, but it will be pushing in very, very soon, and they can easily just take this first tier turret down, unless of course Quartercore have got an answer, but maybe not. So Death Q
gonna get 2 chains, 3 chains for Quartercore. This is a great time for Impunity to fight this. Torment, second Torment. If they fight, they're going to win this. But that is going to be Bluesty getting the kill onto the box. No, Petal actually gets the shutdown, and a double for Petal. Can he get the triple? Defky wants to get it. Will he get it? No, Churnwalker gets the ace, and Impunity, I don't think they can win the game. They're far too far away from the base, but they're going to try it. Sure, they want this win.
They won this win, but when SNK respawns in 17 seconds, he will have that gauntlet. And what really happened then was Death Q, very good gauntlet coming down from SNK, trapping Death Q at the edge, stunning Death Q out, and Death Q was
in the focus. Here we go. Death Q gonna be bursted down, and now onto the Vein Crystal. Death Q, never one destiny used by Bluesty, and the silence, but the gauntlet doesn't land. Death Q's going to go down, but there's going to be Bluesty onto the Vein. One more basic will secure the victory. I didn't think Impunity could do it. They knew they could. Impunity take the game.
Impunity definitely very, very impressive coming through in this first game, going up against the Nemesis Renegades, and they definitely did show that Churnwalker is up there in terms of captains. Why is we have so many captains available on the fold during draft. We have got Lance, we have got a Catherine open up as well, but you know, not any of those captains have been kept in mind by the side of Impunity. Instead, it is that Churnwalker. But whether or not Renegades coming into the second draft will ban out this Churnwalker is a big question mark in the clouds. But I don't think Churnwalker is quite an issue. It is an issue that Fortress Warren isn't allowed to farm at all in his own jungle, and just allowing Blue City to just have that one up against him at every single point of time. In time of the game.
Yeah, I think that the Churnwalker ban might make a lot of sense, because the plays that Churnwalker made, his utility of life, keeping him alive when he seemed so low, but if the team just fight around him, he's going to be fine. Going to spread that damage all around, and Bluesty played really well on the Reza, sitting away jungle, getting them the 10k gold lead, so that even when they lost 3 kills, lost a gold mine, they were still 10k gold ahead. So that was really well played by Impunity, and I think that if they first pick Churnwalker again, they have to be the favourites for this next game.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Impunity, they have been just locking on to this Churn Walker time and time again, and they can pretty much execute with the Churn Walker with very, very different team comps. They've tried it with Petal, they've tried it with Vox, they've tried it with this Reza and Saw as well. And so I don't think Renegades will pick up this Churn Walker. Like, I Request Duel actually said something earlier on, and it's that with a Churn Walker, very high skill cap, you need to have a lot of practice with it, whether or not in scrimmage, whether or not it's in other region, in your region, you need to have a lot of practice on this Churn Walker.
Yeah, Churn Walker's a really early game hero. We've seen Impunity win these games really early on, and one thing that hasn't been obvious with Churn Walker because Impunity haven't let it happen is that if the game scales to late game and you're even in gold, generally you think, okay, both teams have an even chance to fight. But if you have a Churn Walker, it then becomes much less likely that you're going to win the game. He's all about early game snowball because early game you do a lot of damage and kills happen very quickly. Late game, kills happen very slowly, so that damage being passed around everyone isn't as important. It's much more about positioning, much more about CC, which Churn Walker does lack. He has a stun with his ultimate, which is quite reliable, because if you just land your chain, then you can trespass through them, get triple stun, but then you lose your chains, so you lose your healing, you lose your damage, damage part being amplified throughout all the enemies. So I think it is tough for Churn Walker to win in the late game, which is how you really counter him, is you make sure you don't get snowballed, then you can start winning the game against him. But Impunity are winning every single game before 16 minutes. But I think that is it for the speculation. We're going to find out what are Renegades going to do. Is it going to be the Churn Walker ban, or are they going to try and counter it? We've said that 6 times. Will it work on the 6th attempt? But that is it. Draft is ready. Without further ado, let's head into the draft.
Alright, so coming into this draft, Impunity now on the blue side and Renegades on the red side. Which means if Renegades do not remove the Churn Walker in their turn when they're supposed to ban them, then Impunity might and have a very high chance of just securing this Churn Walker. So Impunity definitely made a name for Churn Walker. Churn Walker picked up 4 times 100% win rate. Coming into this particular series as the second week of Split 2 for the Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia. So Churn Walker very, very strong, but now Impunity's time to ban out. They can easily ban out that Ryan, which is kind of very classic coming into any draft basically for Southeast Asia or in Vainglory 8. And RNG will remove that Black Feather. I mean, it is quite a dilemma. You give Impunity the Churn Walker, or you ban out, or you give Impunity that Black Feather. Definitely the Black Feather would be a harsher, stronger hero to give away to Impunity, and thus banning him out would be the most sensible. And Churn Walker immediately picked up by Impunity.
I feel like Renegades could have just banned away something like Cruel, or Taka, or Alpha, or Reza. Leave Churn Walker and Black Feather both open. If they pick Churn Walker, you just get Black Feather. If they get Black Feather, then you can second ban their Churn, or you can pick it yourself. They ban Black Feather away from themselves as well as from Impunity. I don't think Impunity would have first picked it. They've won every game they've played with Churn Walker, so why would they not first pick Churn Walker? So I think Renegades could have left themselves Black Feather open if they wanted to play it. But now they get their Arden, once again, seeing very similar drafts, and now it is Renegades that have to change it up. They're going to ban the Reza. I think Impunity will be like, yeah, cool, we've still got our Saw pick. We've got other junglers which we can be aggressive with in the early game. That's not really a problem for us. And the Taka, obviously, they absolutely hate Taka. Impunity have not played against it yet because they banned it in almost every single game. So Renegades have to change something up. Saw is left open, so they have to be prepared for that. They have to try and possibly counter it. A Vox pick would not do very well against Saw, but it might be the pick from Renegades. I don't think they should. I think they should go for something with maybe either more range or more early game pressure.
Yeah, but they can go for that Soul themselves, and we have seen Renegades actually coming in with an Arden and Saw combo, and it worked very, very well for them. They're able to push the early game turrets, they're able to put down damage. Of course, Saw falls off into the late game, but generally when you run a Saw, you don't want to go that far into the late game. You try to end it within first or second, or rather first Kraken, but they will settle for the Kestrel in preparation for the Saw being picked up by the side of Impunity. So We saw Impunity before. Whenever they want to pick up the sword, they want to ban out the Castro for themselves. If not, then the Taka. They absolutely dislike this Taka, but we've seen a couple of Castro bans out coming through from Impunity. What do you think Impunity will go for now? Would they just settle for the sword?
I think they should pick Vox and Alpha, but they're going to go for Baron. So Impunity going completely different scaling. They're going to go for the late game with Baron. I know that Baron and Churnwalker have obvious synergy together. Baron has splash damage on his basic attacks, and Churnwalker will amplify that damage so much. But the Baron Churnwalker, they scale at different points in the game, because Baron is really good late game, Churnwalker is so good early game. I am very interested to see what Impunity can do, how they are going to decide to play this, whether they're going to be aggressive early game, whether they're going to be passive, let Baron scale up, or try and use Churnwalker's power spike. And so it's going to be different. I like the Alpha pick. It's a really solid pick against Kestrel. Kestrel has nothing against Alpha. It's really good. You can just dive in, you can kill her without problem. And the Samuel final pick from Renegades, that's not great. It's a double squishy comp against Alpha. Alpha excels against that. And I think I like what Impunity have done with the Alpha. I don't particularly like the Baron with the Churnwalker though.
Yep, and I mean, Baron, you can basically try to play aggressive in the early game alongside this Alpha, a very early game hero, and as with Churnwalker as well, very team fight, orientated team comp coming through from the side of Impunity. So as long as Impunity can score the early game and try to shift that late game, we know Baron is just so very strong into the mid game itself. When they have that snowball, they will definitely easy to close this game out for themselves. But I'm really liking the team comp coming through from the side of Renegades. They have the Castro, the Samuel, very early game heroes, can try to push against this Baron, but of course at the back of their minds constantly would be of this Alpha. Those prime directives will hit and will hurt when they land. And maybe Renegades will change up the strategy this time. They will want to go in for the early invade. They will want to go in for the early push against the first turret, against this Baron at least. And it's just really just down to execution and whether or not Impunity can bring the late game for Baron into the mid game and try to push every single advantage they are given.
Yeah, so we are now loading into the House to Unfold for the second, possibly final game between Renegades and Impunity. I think that Renegades need to be aggressive. They have really nice level 2 composition. They can push turrets with Kestrel. They can be aggressive against Alpha with Uni, but we're going to have to see what they decide to go for. And yeah, DefQ is going to be passive. He's going to be farming up. And unless a really big team fight happens at level 2, then it's going to be Renegades who have the advantage. Because if they get 3 chains and then Baron and Alpha do a bit of splash damage, that splash damage gets reflected throughout the chains and it's going to be pretty easy for this Churnwalker who tries to get the tree in, isn't able to do so. And Courtevoir does not have boots. Could be in a bit of trouble, but this is what you've seen Impunity do. Courtevoir gets himself through, baits out Renegades to try and fight him, and then he just gets utility of life, heals up, and Impunity turn the fight around. Speaking of a fight, and Prime Directive does not land. Spaghetti though, Spaghetti is split from the rest of his team. Where is Arden? He's not going to be able to help him. Spaghetti's in a tough position. Blixley gets the tree in, and you cannot get 2 chains on one person. Once again, Spaghetti is split, so SNK is going to be the focus now. And Baron jumping in. Will he catch Spaghetti? No, he won't. Alpha Prime Directive over the wall doesn't quite have the range to reach Samuel. And Impunity take the lead, but no real control after that slight win from the team fight, even though Alpha got the triumph. Maybe it was Baron, actually.
Uni maybe trying to go in for that sneaky invade, but DefQ may be catching him out. Jump Jets in, not quite in time, and DefQ will just go into lane, try to clear out this wave against Spaghetti on that Kestrel. But in the early game, we mentioned about Kestrel and how strong Kestrel is in the early game. So Kestrel generally, or rather Spaghetti on this Kestrel, would want to go for that Sorrow Blade first item, build into the Sorrow Blade. After getting Sorrow Blade, we'll have an infusion very early, but DefQ very, very low. We'll have to pop the Flask, but Flask is already used, 70 seconds cooldown. We'll be forced to port back home. But as mentioned, Spaghetti likes to play the early game, get Sorrow Blade, get the infusion, and try to push for something, push for an objective. But with Courtevoir around and the man damage coming through from Baron settles for that Sorrow Blade as well, and able to get Sorrow Blade alongside Spaghetti, it will be quite a difficult fight for the side of Renegades, especially since all 3 heroes, or rather both carries from the side of Renegades, are super squishy.
Yeah, so that's the problem with this Baron, is that he needs to scale up, and He got quite good. He got quite a good engage early on, good trade. But as you said, he popped his healing fast. So Kestrel is going to get that Solar Blade, going to get an infusion very early on, which is going to be really helpful for Spaghetti. SNK already prioritizing on this minion candy to try and help push this wave forward. But Impunity are happy to let this be aggressive, be towards Baron's side. It means Spaghetti is going to be losing out on minions, losing out on positioning as well. But the minion candy from SNK is the counter to that decision. You try and freeze the lane, and then they just minion candy it. Now you have a turret problem. Uni up in lane, drifting dart, going to try and get damage onto the turret and onto the Baron. He is going very low. One more drifting dart, not quite going to do enough. He uses the healing flask. DevQ on a sliver, but Uni going to take a turret shot, so he's going to go quite low. But Alpha's going to come in. Spaghetti taking a bit of damage. 2 chains. Going to be a double shot from Baron. No, he's not a double shot. Going to be going on to anyone except Uni. And now Baron's going solo, so is Brooksty. Will he go into reboot? Not quite. And Quadivore has got 3 chains, but no one on his team can go in, so he's forced to lose all his chains and back off. That's disaster for Impunity. Now Brooksty looking to try to weekend. Prime Directive is going to go in, but not going to hit anyone. He had no core charge stacks, that would be risky. DefQ deciding not to port home. All 6 players on the fold are low in health, below half health easily. Only SNK is above a quarter health really, and now Chain goes out but does miss. SNK is going to take a little bit of damage, but put more onto Quadivore. Now Bluesty trying to freeze this wave for himself. Spaghetti is quite low, but Alpha, if she gets some core charge stacks, you can die to 1 Prime Directive, and so Spaghetti going to port home. And Impunity do not lose that much, they're still even in gold.
Yep, they are still even, and DevQ will head into the jungle to just farm alongside Blue City on this Alpha, leaving the wave relatively pushed against him or against themselves, but it will be worth it for Baron. Baron can farm easily under turret if you do not miss those starter steps, and Quadivore will be in lane to just try to secure those last hits. But Minion Candy once again being used by the side of Renegades, is so aggressive coming through from the side of Renegades. Yeah,
what Impunity are doing is they're trying to freeze the wave so can't farm effectively. SNK is going, okay, you freeze the wave, let's take the tier 1. Because the minions are now being aggressive on the turret, and DefQ is losing a bit of farm. Spaghetti get that turret down very low, but Bluesty coming up to lane with level 6. No aftershock though, he needs to go to shop and fire 50 more gold before he's able to get that. DefQ going to try and farm up, and Uni's just in lane with that Oblivion, also trying to do a bit of poke on Bluesty. Him and Quadivore are both quite low. No fountain available for either captain. We're 5 minutes in and no one's got a fountain. SNK can afford to get his at shop. So can Quadivore, who's picked his up now. This is a good time for Impunity to fight. They lost their turret, but they have a fountain, whereas SNK has nothing. Baron's full health. Luxie's got an ultimate, but it looks like Renegade's still going ahead. Kestrel trying to pour home. Quadivore going to spot him out. Going to get that hook. It will land. Spaghetti now is 1v1 in Quadivore, and that's easily going to be Spaghetti's win unless Bluesty can come in and do some work. And will this be a return tier 1 turret? Spaghetti is very low. Fountain was picked up by SNK when he went down to the shops, and Impunity do not have that advantage. They are forced to back off, and Renegades get the tier 1 turret for free.
Yep, they do get the tier 1 turret, but I want to say DevQ now going for the Sorbet has got the Book of Eulogies as well. I'll be quite afraid if DevQ do settle for that Serpent's Mask, which we saw. Who is that player? Mr. Jim, I think. From Brand Esports, Jenny would settle for whenever he goes on that Baron. I know that is quite a couple of patches back when Baron saw nerfed into his damage, and thus he went, or rather Brand Esports, Jenny would want to go for the sustained Serpent's Mask into Breaking Point build, which is not very effective. If you ask me, 1 shot 1 kill comes out, lands on DevQ, but it will not do much with DevQ having a Book of Eulogies, just able to heal it back. All the way back up. But now Spaghetti, as mentioned before, has got a Solar Blade, has got a 6 hits, have got an infusion in their pocket, popping it right now. They might look to take this tier 2 turret.
All 3 members of Impunity are porting home. How many infusions? 1. Neither gets 1, so no response to Renegade's infusions. Impunity going to try and defend this target. Renegade is playing like Impunity were. There's the Iron Cannon from Alpha. SNK going to be the one caught out, but he's not the target you really want. Quadivore not going to hit as many chains as he might want as well, but going to come out, going to hit, okay, second one, wants to go into Kestrel and does land. Sleep did sleep up Impunity, but it did not matter. About to use that as a double shot from Baron, loads of damage. Alpha does take a Prime Directive, and this is chains doing its work from Quadivore with Impunity doing more work. Alpha not going to get that Prime, they're going to get the ultimate off. Termination Protocol not popped because Alpha got stunned up by the Kestrel. That's first blood, 7 minutes in. We've always had 2 turrets full, and that hasn't been the first blood yet. Quadivore, 3 chains, ultimate, gets a triple stun. Spaghetti's going to go down to DefQ. This Baron is doing work. Quadivore is going to almost fall, but DefQ's body blocking for his captain. The carry's body blocking for the captain. DefQ can do the work. Is he going to go for it? He gets 1 kill. If he has the energy for jump jets, I would go for it. But he's just going to bait until Alpha is back, and Uni knows Alpha's back. Uni's going to back off. in the end, 2 kills for 2, and Renegades come out slightly ahead in gold.
Yep, 2 apiece, but the side of Impunity, or rather the side of Renegades, can't quite push into this tier 2 turret. They are definitely finding it quite difficult, even when SNK popped that minion candy, and Spaghetti just couldn't find those glimmer shots onto those the tier 2 turret. Yes, the tier 2 turret now is at half health, has taken quite a beating, but DevQ on this Baron is slowly ramping up, slowly putting out the damage that's needed out of this Baron. But we do see Spaghetti sitting at 55 CS, whereas DevQ 62 CS, and DevQ in the late game, if Spaghetti does not quite close this game out, or the side of Renegades do not quite close this game out as soon as they need to, it will be very, very difficult for them to just go on to the side of Impunity once Baron gets his crit items, and now he has the potential, but it is one of his initial and first power spikes for the side of Impunity. They may be looking to push.
Yeah, Baron picked up an infusion. Kestrel has to re-pop hers. Worth is going to run out pretty soon. One shot onto Baron, giving Kestrel a bit of adrenaline stacks. Uni going in aggressive with this drifting. Baron pops, has got his infusion still popped. Still with only a sword bed and tension bow. So Impunity are looking to fight if they manage to get a good engage, but this is a bad engage for them. Uni got great drifting dark and Malice and Verdict poke, so this turret is going to go down. No question, only 1 minion is more than enough for the side of Renegades. Will Impunity turn it around and go for their own fight? Does not look likely. Nope, they're not going to go for it. They're just going to back off, allow Renegade to get that tier 2 turret for free. Even though there was no infusion for Spaghetti, there was one for Uni, and so DevQ didn't feel like he was that far ahead to go for it after taking all of those empowered Malice and Verdicts. Uni is going pretty glass cannon, no block, no Eve of Harvest quite yet. So Impunity could find a good fight, and they want to seize their own tier 1 turret. Spaghetti rotating back. Hook and chain does not connect onto Kestrel. That was what he wanted. Now Boots is looking to try and go in Baron. Bit of damage onto this turret. Gauntlet comes through. DevQ can block it with that jump jet, and lovely damage onto SNK. But Uni is getting us balanced and verdict. One shot does miss. Now Bootsy pops his own infusion. Good time for Impunity once again to fight. Alfred goes in. There's one quarter stack. Wanting to get a second. He does get it on the minions, and then there's going to be a double shot onto Uni. Sleep comes through and it sleeps up Baron, but it does not sleep up Bootsy. And the 2 chains going to come out. One on SNK, one on Spaghetti. But that's a very aggressive drifting dark. Baron jump jetsing in. Body blocking for his team, but that's not what you want to do as a Baron. Prime Directive does not hit, but he's going to be a kill from Kestrel onto the Charmwalker. Now Bluesty needs to use the ultimate pretty soon if he wants to go in, but definitely going to back off. Bluesty going to back off. Renegades take the advantage in that fight despite a double infusion for Impunity and only a single one for Renegades. They really have this early game under lock and key because this Baron's just not quite there yet. He needs a couple of, well, one or two more items before he's really something to worry about.
Yeah, Baron really needs to get a Tyrant's Monaco, if not then Tornado Trigger really soon, but the side of Renegades will turn that into a gold mine, 400 gold each to each member of the side of Renegades, pushing their gold lead even further. They were sitting at about a 2k gold lead, now they are at a 3k, close to 4k gold lead, very comfortable for the side of Renegades. And the side of Impunity, they are slowly but surely losing their footing now. Blue City unable to just go very aggressive because the moment he goes in, he gets trapped out by the Gauntlet. If not, then, trapped out by active camo. If not, then, there's just so many CCs coming through from the side of Renegade. It's just so difficult for Blue City to just jump in. And if Blue City do jump in, then he risks getting himself too low for, even before the team fights do start. And DevQ not a very mobile hero, to be completely honest, and he's just down to quarter for those torments and be able to pull the entirety of Renegades in, but it's not quite happening just yet.
Yeah, one shot a little bit wide. Double poke is doing well against Charmwalker at the moment. Only a 3k gold lead though for Renegades in this game. Alpha working towards that second item, probably Broken Myth, maybe Dragon's Eye, depending on how Bluxty wants to take these fights. He's going low though to Uni and Spaghetti, so he's had to prioritise very early defense. Couple of minion candies picked up Arden and Tyrants for Kestrel. No Tyrants for DevQ, but Impunity are looking to initiate this fight. 2 chains, 2 stuns. There's Alpha going to be stunned under Arden as well. Out the corner, DevQ can get slept, and he's over the wall there. He's absolutely fine. Spaghetti going to get taken down by the Charmwalker, who got the last hit for somehow. And now DevQ is going to push this wave up. He hasn't got his Tyrants, but it doesn't seem to matter. Uni going to get pulled back by the Torment. There's no Echo quite affordable. I had to get Crucible. Uni going to get quite low from this Alpha and from the Baron. One Malice and Verdict both going to hit on Defku. Lux is waiting for the right time to find directive in. Is it time? Is it time? Alpha's not going to go in. Baron's going to do damage. One shot does put Bluxty into that ultimate. He does go into reboot and Bluxty's going to back off. A bit sad. He didn't manage to get his ultimate off. He's forced to back off and Defku wants to run away. Uni wants to go in. Very aggressive with that Drifting Dark. He is level 12. That is an overdriven Drifting Dark, so he can go for ages chasing down Defku is drifting. Defku does get the healing tree though. With the sentry, I doubt Uni's going to chase much further. This will be a gold mine for Renegades though. No contest from Impunity.
Yep, very unique overdrive coming through from Uni. Most of the time we do see the overdrive is on Oblivion, the ultimate of the Samuel, but this time Uni have an overdrive on the Drifting Dark. It means it will just stay forever on the fold like you mentioned earlier on, and the Empowered Malices and Birdie coming through will just be immense for these long drawn out team fights that the RNG and IMP are facing right now. Baron in that team fight put himself in a very good position over the wall, no one could just get close to him. But like mentioned, Blue City wants to jump in, Baron wants to attack from backline, and Quartervore wants to be in a mid-tier, you know, and not really just tanking up the damage at all. Although Quartervore on a Churnwalker has got a Futility of Life perk, and that means basically as many hooks as he lands, there is as much healing that he gets as long as allies deal damage. But Defku on that Baron did not do sustain burst. Instead, it's a one-shot thing.
Here we go, 2 chains. That's going to be an ultimate, and it's stunning out again. That on purpose, but he blocks out the Samuel Oblivion, and that's prime directive, not going to land, but Spaghetti going to get pulled back. Fountain forced. Spaghetti going to try and 1v1 Defku. He will be able to do so. Fountain forced also by Impunity now. Renegades looking to turn this around. Drifting Dark going to be used, but that's not quite the right direction. Impunity going up. Uni is now only going to get 2 Malice and Verdicts out of that Drifting Dark. And now he's still going in though. He's got his Dragon's Eye. It's stacking up. He'll be on 9 stacks by now, no question. Uni's going to be a massive damage dealer. Defku's forced to just run far away. And Alpha's terrible at running. She's just slow. She's only got tier 1 boots. She's going to be forced to use them. Defku's going to jump this away. And Quartervore has got a full metal jacket against this Kestrel. And Uni, the problem with that overdrive on the Drifting Dark is that it's so quick, you're forced to run with it or else you're not going to get melee and power mass and verdicts out of it. Turret is going to go down to the minions, not quite going to be taken out by Impunity. They lose their 3 turrets and Kraken immediately going to be focused by Renegades. Impunity have to contest this with vision, otherwise they're just probably going to lose the game from this push.
They might lose the game from this push, and it's just so difficult for Defku to even put damage out. We saw he jump jet in, put out 2 shots onto Spaghetti, but Spaghetti can just easily out damage him with one glimmer shot and 1 basic attack. So that's how much damage Spaghetti has over Defku. Defku really have to rethink how he will approach this fight. Whether or not to burst Uni down first, if not then burst Spaghetti down, and all 3 members from the side of Impunity have to work on one single target. Because what happens is, you burst Spaghetti down, you take Spaghetti down, but then Uni just so much sustain on his build right now. He has got the Dragon's Eye. The longer he stays in team fight, the more damage he's going to put out, and now Uni coming in from the backline, trying to flank the side of Impunity.
Yep, Drifting Dark has been used, but he's only going to get 2 Malices and Verdicts out of that. Best positioning. Drifting Dark's already gone, 10 seconds. When Impunity could fight and they will be in an advantageous position. Hook and Chain comes out but is broken. Samuel drifting back in 4 seconds, so Renegades are ready to fight 1 shot. Just going to hit onto Booksty. That tickles with his metal jacket, same as Quartervore. They're really itemizing against this Kestrel. It's a smart play. Kestrel is going to be so hard to play against. Impunity waiting as 3 in that bush. If Kestrel goes to farm the wave, she's dead. There is no question, but Renegades don't care. Renegades going to start up the Kraken, and Quartervore has got a flare, but it looks like he's going to wait. They lose patience. They need to check this Kraken. They know it's being taken. Baron's got an ultimate, and Bluxty has a nice steal with that prime directive. Defku going to push this wave up before they try to fight, because if they win the fight, they have the minions already pushed to take the turret. And Impunity going to just go, yeah, take the Kraken, we take your turret. It looks like it. Baron is going for the turret, and if Quartervore gets the steal, that would be massive. Nice gauntlet. It's not going to be rocked up, and Alfie uses the ultimate already, and she's going to just try and do burst down as quick as she can. Minions on the turret. Defku, son of a gauntlet, but Spaghetti's going to go very late. Alpha does go down. She does not manage to survive. Quartervore's also going to go down himself, unless the futility of life can save him. Lovely ultimate. Oh, the plays from Quartervore. The trespass does almost give love. Can he buy boots and use it? No, he does not be able to get out with those boots that he picked up. Defku now, screw it, he's going to try and fight, but he goes down. The ace for Renegades, and it looks like they're going to take this game. Not the best decision from Impunity in hindsight.
Well, I mean, Quartervore could have tried to steal that Kraken away, and it would have maybe worked out in his favor, but because of not able to steal that Kraken away.
Luke City actually might be able to kill Uni. Uni's taking so many times. He will go down to the South Palm Direction with Spaghetti. Can he then tank it? They can tank the Glimmer Shots, but Spaghetti's just kiting around with his basic Kraken's. I thought, but Renegades do take the win.
Yep, Renegades taking the win, pushing this into a third game between Impunity and RNG. And very good performance coming through from the side of Renegades, and although we constantly mention the Alpha looks decent, looks good in the team comp, but Baron just took way too long to ramp up as compared to Castro. Castro needs a Sorrow Blade, can put out plenty of damage, whereas Baron, you need the Sorrow Blade into the Tension Bow, into 2 Tyrants Monocle before you can put out similar damage, and that is when your Tension Bow proc onto that of Uni, if not then Castro. So that is one thing that maybe the side of Impunity have to rework on in their draft strat. But overall, very well played to both teams. There was a glimmer of hope for the side of Impunity, but not so much after the failed Kraken steal.
Yeah, the Glimmer Shots too big from Spaghetti on this weapon Kestrel. The pick we haven't seen that much today, but it's such a good pick, such a strong hero in the current meta. You force the enemy to build metal jackets against you. That means your other carry, your Samuel, is going to deal so much work. Bluxy not getting the Aegis. DefQ obviously going Glass Cannon on the Baron. And it really worked out well for Renegades. The first Churnwalker has failed to win for Impunity. Every other Churnwalker had won the game. And I think the main reason why Quartervore's Churnwalker didn't win this game was because they picked it with a Baron. Churnwalker is a fantastic early game snowball hero, but you picked it with Baron, who is one of the biggest late game scaling heroes in the game. And so every other game that they played with Churnwalker, they won within 15-16 minutes. This game they tried to scale to 25 minutes and they just went no. Renegades went no, we're going to poke you down. Churnwalker is not good against poke comps. And so it was well played by Renegades in the end.
Yep. Definitely, you mentioned this before and at the start of the stream itself that Churnwalker just does so badly against a poke comp, and you are right? We saw that Castro, we saw Uni on that Samuel, and there was really nothing much, and those chains and hook just couldn't reach them at all. And if it does reach, it is close to the maximum range, and they can just easily walk out of it. There were a couple of very good team fights coming through from the side of Renegades, or rather, sorry, from the side of Impunity, but those team fights, although good, but was just not good enough. Constantly leaving Uni just standing, and with the build that coming through from Uni, the longer he is in team fights, 9 seconds in basically, the more damage he does.
Yeah, I think the Dragon's Eye was a great pickup for Uni. Alpha only got an half another maybe until right at the end, and so Alpha wasn't the damage dealer she needed to be to make Kestrel and Samuel afraid of her, and so Baron was their only target. Once Baron was dead, the fight was easy, and yeah, it was well played by Renegades, but I expect Impunity to pick a much more aggressive comp. Maybe the Reza Band from Renegades was all they needed to force Impunity into a not good composition, force them into something that they don't play as well as the Saw, the Vox, and the Reza.
Yep, they could have easily just settled for, the Saw earlier on, and paired up with the Alpha, it might have worked out for them. With the Churn, Saw, and Alpha, they have the early game push against a Castro. But then again, okay, on hindsight, I sincerely apologize. Castro does very well against a Saw. That is something that I just overlooked for that previous draft. But, Baron just did not do well at all. Baron just needs too much time, too much items to just be good.
Yeah, I think Baron scaling up a bit too far, and well played by Renegades to push the game quickly enough so Baron couldn't scale up. But the draft is ready for the final game between these two teams. It's 1-1. This is it. Without further ado, let's head on into the draft.
So jumping into the third draft of this final match, we have Renegades on the blue side and Impunity on the red side. Once again, expecting very meta bans coming through, although you did mention Renegades can easily just take out one hero they do not want to face up against and then give them the Black Feather or the Rhyme to play with. But they will ban out the Rhyme, and coming through from Impunity, the Black Feather ban. Yeah,
Renegades want to do the same as the previous game. They want to pick Arden, and Impunity want to pick Churnwalker. And Renegades want to ban Reza away again, because what Impunity want is a good draft like the first game. Renegades want a draft like the second game. So both teams want to do very similar things, but Renegades are going to feel like, yeah, we just ban Reza and we'll be fine. Impunity, considering that maybe Churnwalker isn't the right pick for them, I don't think Churnwalker's the problem, but they do. They're going to go for the Lance. That still could be flexed into the jungle as weapon. Maybe in the lane as weapon. So Churnwalker is a possible pick for them, but this does mean that Impunity are abandoning their Churnwalker when it let them down. After so many wins in a row, they've let it go, and it looks like they still could go Saw with a Captain Ryman. They banned the Taka, which does suggest they might want to pick a Saw. Maybe they just hate playing against Taka, Luxuria.
Maybe, I mean, Taka has been pretty strong in this current meta, especially if you are like Impunity, you like to go for very, very squishy heroes. Taka is just a bane of your team comp. So coming through, we do see that Lance, and I don't think Impunity will flex that Lance into the weapon carry. It is not their playstyle at all. It is not part of how they roll, basically. But for the side of RNG, they don't have to quite ban out the Reza, although they really need to, because else Impunity can easily pick the Reza up for themselves. Because I was thinking initially that if Impunity did not pick up the Lance, they could have easily just secured themselves the Reza and then ban out something else, ban out maybe the Saw or the Taka, and then allow RNG to ban out something else other than that Reza that Impunity could have easily secured for themselves in the first phase of picks.
Yeah, I think Reza would have been wanted to pick by Impunity, so it's been banned away from them. They can pick Kestrel now, that would work quite well, but then they kind of leave themselves unable to pick Saw last, which they might like to do, because if you go CP Kestrel, that is so late game scaling, you don't really want to play with the Saw. Even though it's got good turret siege early game, CP Kestrel really wants to farm up, so I think they want to pick themselves their Crystal Power jungler. Rhyme, Reza, their two favourites off the table. They are kind of struggling. They want to pick Alpha, because then that can just be countered pretty simply. So maybe Koshka would be a good pick for Impunity to try and snowball that early game. But they're going to pick the Kestrel, so they are kind of committing themselves into not playing Saw unless we see the jungle Crystal Kestrel.
Yep, I personally think, the set of Impunity, we've mentioned this before, especially in 2.8. They are just so very strong on this Kestrel, and it boggled both of our minds as to why teams, when they go up against Impunity, they do not pick Kestrel. And they did not ban out Kestrel because Blue City, very strong on that Kestrel, and then you have DevQ, equally strong as well, and they can flex the Kestrel, and we've seen Blue City playing that weapon Kestrel instead of the jungle. However, I do not think that we will be seeing it coming through, as a Vox will be picked up by the side of RNG.
Yeah, Vox, not great against Kestrel, but not terrible either. So it will work for Renegades. They're going to be happy with picking up the Vox. Sorry. Now, I think Impunity have got to think, right, we have the decision of either we go for an assassin in the jungle with our lane Kestrel, or maybe we flex this as a jungle Kestrel. Let's see what they're going to last pick. And I think the jungle Kestrel could work if Renegades don't pick a very aggressive jungler. If Renegades let Kestrel farm up like Fortress. CP Kestrel though is not great against Fortress because the walls will expose you, but Weapon Kestrel is not good against Fortress either because the walls will expose you when you try and go invisible. So it's a tough pick for Impunity. What they want to last pick, I think Ozo could work well, Alpha could work well, but obviously there's still that Saw available. I highly doubt it though.
Yep, I don't think Saw will be picked up. We will be seeing a Scarf coming through from the side of Impunity, and Scarf, we've seen Scarf being picked out here and there for the side for Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia in 2.9.1, and every single Scarf we've seen haven't quite done very well for themselves. I'm not saying that Scarf is not quite in meta, but Mages in general is just so difficult to play in this current meta with so many assassins and how strong Aftershock is. But playing it against a Fortress, I think it'll work because Scarf wants to farm up, Fortress wants to farm up, and it's just down to late game execution as to whether or not the Lance can peel successfully for this comp coming through from Impunity. And Impunity, this particular comp, they run it time and time again. They are so comfortable on this double poke and Lance comp in 2.8. I'm sure they can pull this off well, so I'm going to lean towards Impunity. I'm going to think that, it's just because of how comfortable they are. They won draft.
You might not say that Scarf is out of the meta, but I will say Scarf is out of the meta at the moment. Mages in general, not great. So Scarf is definitely a different pick for what we were expecting from Impunity. It can work out. The double poke comp worked for Renegades in the previous game. Let's see if it will work for Impunity in this final game. We are now loading into the Halcyon Fold. So let us know which team you think is going to take the series. Will it be Renegades or will it be Impunity? Let us know in the chat. So I think this Scarf, it can work really well against Uni because his Fortress will not be able to be aggressive early on. So in the jungle, you're going to be able to farm up Scarf very effectively. But it looks like Impunity going for a 3-man invade towards the front healing camp of the side of Renegades. Renegades countering by going to the front camp themselves, secured by Impunity. Arden going to the backs, and what is the call from Impunity? They're going to rotate towards their own jungle, but SNK just walked straight past them and will be able to get all these backs and port home safely.
Yep, and the vision definitely will be provided and was provided by SNK on this Arden, but Quatervar may be spotting SNK.
Quatervar bought boots, which is why he was able to catch up to SNK backs, so he's going to be happy with that 3 CS for him. Now Bluxty is going to catch out SNK. He's just going to start with the minion, start focusing on that, and now SNK is dead. No doubt first by going over to Impunity, but Turret is being focused by Renegades. They're trying to push this up so Kestrel loses some farm. In the end of all of that, the gold is pretty even, so no one really came out ahead. Arden got some backs, Impunity got some first blood. Yeah, pretty close between these two teams, and a nice rotation from Quatervar buying boots and then running straight to the backs to catch out Arden. Once again, Impunity going aggressive, trying to steal the stream. They're going to try and stun Uni with that. No, they're not going to get it with that Impale. That's Spaghetti rotation down. Bluxty is in a lot of trouble. He's used his scoop. He's used his Spitfire. He's got nothing. He's going to go down. Second blood for Renegades, and Uni gets the credit for that one. He wants to get backs with Spaghetti. No, Spaghetti wants to port home. So Kestrel could push, because Kestrel is pushing this wave up. And a very interesting early game from both teams. Much more aggressive from Impunity than we would have expected with the Scarf.
Yeah, what I think from the side of Renegades would be maybe this Fortress might just work out for this early game. We saw the amount of damage coming through from Uni on this little dog, and
oh, SNK, what blood for blood, stealing the Elder Train away from Def Q. Not what you would on a cat.
The side of Renegades must, or rather the side of Impunity right now must be very, very annoyed by how they are just not very successful with their invades right now, and Blue City once again trying to go in.
He's trying to be aggressive against Uni, but it's not going to happen as a Scarf. Said Fortress is poor early game, and he's got 1,700 gold. Bluxity had 500 gold, and Uni still won that fight because Scarf is just so weak. As long as Fortress gets out of the goop, then he's going to win the fight. He's going to outtrade you, and your Splitfire was on such a long cooldown early game. It really wasn't the best decision from Bluxity. I think he just needs to farm up. There's no reason for Bluxity to try and steal farm away from Uni. Just let him farm up, let yourself farm up, and get to that late game power spike when Scarf becomes basically unkillable. But with Impunity trying to be aggressive, didn't quite work out, so now DefQ is quite low in lane in terms of energy, and he needs to buy. He needs to get that Solar Blade as quick as possible. Spaghetti going for the Poison Shift first is interesting because there's no healers. There's only going to be an Eve of Harvest on Scarf. So do you think that's a smart idea, or do you think maybe that will go into a Breaking Point first? Spaghetti pushed on the carrot, but DefQ having none of that. He wants to farm, and he wants to get towards his Solar Blade.
Unkillable for Blue City may be an overstatement, especially with, the aftershock that will be coming out from Uni very, very soon. Uni actually reaching that Storm Crown banner, but the side of Impunity definitely... Storm Crown banner, wow. So Storm Guard banner and just going straight for the aftershock definitely will bode Uni very, very well coming into the late game going up against Blue City. And we've mentioned before, Fortress, you want the aftershock first. You want that power spike for yourself, and then you can be aggressive. And for Fortress to be able to farm up so successfully against a Scarf, it will be very, very good for Renegades coming into the mid game once Fortress gets at level 6 and can engage with those moves.
So DefQ now picked up his Solar Blade already, and Spaghetti has gone for the Poison Shiv, so trying to lower the heal of that either. That Bluxty will most likely pick up. So interesting build from Volks. Kestrel will most certainly win this 1 versus 1. because those glimmer shots dealing so much more than anything Vox can provide. Weeksy up in lane has got the Dragon's Breath, trying to do a Spitfire. Will not land to anyone. Nice dodge from SNK on those impales. Now Uni coming out of lane with that ultimate, but a nice group on tower takes down to half health. There's the attack at the back. Weeksy trying to back up, but he's going to go very low. DefQ trying to glimmer shot, but there's wolves in the way. Weeksy using that healing flask, getting healed up with Wolf Wound, trying to stop it. 2 shots, not enough, but Uni's going to dive in. He is impressive. Already got 3 kills, and now Kestrel is trying to get a stun, but she's going to go down. Lance will go down for the ace if he cannot get under this tower, but the Quart of War will boot away. No fountain for him or for SNK. They can both afford it, but no one's in the shot. Once again, 5.5 minutes in, no captain's built a fountain already, which is so different to what we normally see. We see 4 minute 30 fountains, but this time the team's able to fight, and Renegades are leading this game quite decisively.
Oh, they are. They have got the 1k, close to 1k gold lead up against Impunity, and between both of these teams, we saw, a certain, plan, not a plan, but a pattern for them. Generally, whoever they get initial gold lead can quite snowball very, very well, but the turret will be taken, a return turret taken by DefQ, a very sneaky push coming through from DefQ, definitely utilizing the ability for Castro to just clear the wave so fast as compared to Spaghetti on this box, but now they might just be looking for them.
The SNK is going to go a little bit low, but Fortress trying to dive in onto Quarterbar. He's going to go much lower. Bit of a crystal whip, but that's not going to. Peril does miss, he's trying to run away, and he does get the Githim all the way. How is he not dead? DefQ though, dealing massive damage with the glimmer shots on the back line, and Scarf pulls the reach away, but DefQ, he's started stepping, he needs to get his glimmer shots back. There we go. Uni going to take a bit of damage from these glimmers, but loses in back towards the Crystal Sentry. Uni blocks the Spitfire, but Uni's going to fall to that first glimmer shot. DefQ wants a second, he's got a one shot. Vox is being slowed by this Sentry. Who's DefQ going to one shot? He can get a kill onto SNK if he wants to, but no, he's not going to do it. DefQ, I'm disappointed he didn't go for the plays, go for the double kill with that one shot and with a couple of glimmers. He's now going to try it onto SNK, but that's going to miss. A little bit late, and unfortunately for Impunity, they only get 1 kill.
Yep. They get only 1 kill coming through in that team fight, and to be completely honest, the side of RNG definitely looked like they have got that, but it was just the very, very quick thinking. They just backed off almost immediately, leaving DefQ in a very comfortable position to just reposition himself and then put out those glimmer shots. That way, RNG just had such a hard time and was just jumping onto DefQ. Blue City is quite an easy target as a Scarf. You are generally just a sitting dark when you cast a spell. And we saw a very good Dragon's Breath coming through from Blue City, but it was just not enough. Quart of War very close to that, but just able to stay in the team fight for an awfully long time, providing so much sustain for the side for his team. And that is one thing. And although the side of RNG, a lot of mortal wounds coming through.
We're going to see a second item, Dragon's Eye. That's going to be a nice big stun, and he stuns him out of the goal. SNK doesn't get that. Lots of damage with that aftershock clock from the Tooth. DefQ though, very low. One more shot from Fortress does not quite get him the fountain, saves his life. Now DefQ to get those glimmer shots. That's a lovely Dragon's Breath and Scarf. Going to go into SNK, but the double stun from Quart of War was not enough. DefQ's going to go down, and Quart of War is basically dead. He's forced to back away. The Dragon's Eye, second item, it's not being picked up, so not quite working out for Quart of War just yet. Interesting build though, and Renegade are looking to take this tissue tower and possibly even gold mine. Uni though, with that aftershock, is bursting so heavily onto this Kestrel.
Quart of War on this Crystal Lance is not foreign. It's not foreign to me at all. When I was casting for Southeast Asia Mobile Major, and it was the last finals between Impunity and Renegades, Quart of War went very similar build, but now this gold mine may be able to be stolen away by Quart of War, but no, will be secured by Uni on that fortress. Impunity maybe will be looking for a fight. And yes, continuing on my point, it is not foreign to me because I've seen it before with my own eyes. I've seen Quart of War actually managing to use it.
The length of those routes, they have been increased a little bit by that heavy prism, and once again Impunity going for the sneak step in the dark. He does not care. He wants this turret. Will he get it? One more basic. Don't glimmer shot. Just basic. Kestrel. No, the minions aren't going to get the turret. Renegades are going to stop it. DefQ was trying to glimmer shot through the fortress and the Vox. If he just stood still and basic attack, that turret has gone down. I think that is about as low as a turret can go. But Blukesty is going to get his jungle, and Quart of War can almost afford Dragon's Eye. A little bit more ambient gold and be able to get that. So Interesting decision. I think it will help later on in the team fights. Those root durations will go to probably the max length they can on this Lance, similar with the stuns. But yeah, DefQ really wanted that turret, and I think he'll be slightly annoyed at himself that he tried to Glimmer Shot. But it seems obvious. If you Glimmer Shot, you do more damage, but when it's being body blocked, you should just basic attack. And now Kestrel trying to farm up, but the wave is far too pushed, so he's forced to go back. And DefQ is going aggressive. 2 minions foot, no weapon power, no attack speed. And that is a dead Lance. He's gone down. He's far too aggressive. Doesn't bother bouncing himself. That makes sense. Now Uni looking to push this, and Kestrel is going for the back door onto the turret, but he's spotted. There was a scout trap. I don't think they care. I think they just want the tier 3 turret, and even though Kestrel's going to get it now, he's going to push the wave up. Lukesty's trying to clear this with a goop combo. That will do a lot onto the minions, but the minions are still alive. There's going to be Dragon's Breath. Lukesty's going down low. He's going to have to use the blocks to get out the gauntlet. Kestrel, meanwhile, getting the turret. Tier 3 turret for Renegades is going to be started up. Kestrel going to get the healing camp. I think DefQ's going to try the next turret as well. Are we just going to see a complete split push strategy? This is meant for 5v5, not 3v3. As DefQ is just like, I don't care. You lose your turret. Hold my beer while I take this sentry. And DefQ's going to get that down. I'm not quite sure what he's going for. He should port home soon, because if he gets out of position, if he gets caught, he's going to go down. But actually, he's looking to fight. He's looking to come from behind and fight. He's got a trap down, but there's a scout trap in that bush, which he does not know about. Now he's standing next to a scout trap, which he also does not know about. And now he's forced the boots away. Will he be able to get back? He's using the active camo. Lots of glimmers onto Uni, but where is Vox? Vox isn't there. DefQ now trying to do what he can. Aftershock block. Healing blast. There's going to be one glimmer. Going to go on to Arden. Arden body rocking for Uni. Will it be enough? One more basic attack will get Arden, but Spaghetti is going to tank that. He's going to go down, and Uni survives. Kestrel is caught out, should have got the tree and ported home. Quadivore, what are you doing? No, don't go for the 3 plays. This is not the best coordination that we've seen from Impunity. Quadivore is going to go down. He went for Shatterglass and said, wait, no, he's going to impale over the wall and get away. The Wolves are stopping him from being able to port home. So Spaghetti blocks the push back on the Githian wall. Quadivore actually went for Shatterglass. I was expecting Dragon's Eye. He went for Shatterglass, and yeah, not the best coordination from Impunity.
I mean, with the Shatterglass, I think your stun goes up to the maximum, especially with the Crystal Infusion. I think it's 1.4 seconds on those Githian walls, and it cannot go any higher. So even if you do have got a Dragon's Eye, you have got that 9 as 4 stacks in, equivalent to that of a Shatterglass. Those extra stacks do not give you anything more. So Quadivore just settling for that Shatterglass, but have got a crystal bit sitting in the pocket as well.
He's not had enough. He's like, Blue's not doing enough damage. I need my own damage. And normally, when you see a solo queue Lance, he's going to build tension. So please build a fountain for me. Don't build your tension. Power. Wonder what that one's going to be built into, that crystal bit. Obviously, Clockwork would make sense on Lance, but that doesn't build out crystal bit. And Quadivore, they don't care. They're 6k behind in gold. Impunity have got 2 crystal sentry charges, and Kestrel's going to try and 1v1 Vox. They're splitting their aggro ridiculously. And there's going to be Bluesy trying to run away. He gets none of the camps. SNK or Uni manages to get them away. Spaghetti has run down. But look at Kestrel. Kestrel's going to push the wave. What Impunity are playing the way I've never seen before. SNK's going to try and stop DefQ. Can he stop the minions in time? Yes, SNK may fall, but he stops Kestrel getting the turret. Lance is going to go down to Vox most likely here. And Kestrel's going to try and kite around, but he hasn't got energy. Kestrel can't afford to go invisible. Got 12 seconds to survive, but will not be able to do so. Well played by SNK to freeze the wave, stop Kestrel being able to take the turret. But in 5v5, you should be scared about Impunity. Their split push is ridiculous.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking Impunity, they are definitely preparing for the 5v5 for Vainglory. I mean, just look at the amount of multitasking coming out. We have Blue City, we have Quadivore. Just very clear, they are just working as baits. Right? They go into the enemy's jungle, do whatever they want to do. And then you have DefQ just sitting in lane, just pushing, and
it's like how they have a saw, but they've forgotten that they can pick saw, so they pick Kestrel. And they're just like, let's push turrets with.
Well, I mean, higher burst and saw is damage over time. So I don't know what Impunity is trying at, but they were almost successful. I have to give them that. Their plans not entirely thrown out into the water. It's kind of successful, but just constantly being caught out, and with 3v3 having such a small map, it is quite, ridiculous of an idea to just go in for the split push, because there is no 2 lanes, there is just 1 lane. If you're not in this lane, you are in this lane. if that makes sense. But then
the only way to win the game is to push down this lane and take that tier 3 turret and take the next two. And Renegades know exactly go. Kestrel now looking to do a proper team fight. Comes through. He crucibles so that he was not spawned out of it. Gonna have to back towards Crystal Sentry. Kraken has awakened to him. Three, and there's the Dragon's Breath coming through from Scarf. She hasn't got a Dragon's Eye, so not back up. It's Spaghetti's gonna go down. Defcu gets the kill, and he's gonna get a double onto SNK. Can Impunity turn this around? SNK's gonna fall to the Kestrel with one more basic, and he does get the kill. And now Fortress is the last man standing, but it's not a clean ace, so it's not a free Kraken for Impunity, but it is a really good team fight for them.
It is a very good team fight, and although they are 5k, 4.5k behind the side of Renegades, but Renegades then really dove a little too deep and they just forgo about Defq's existence, and we saw the length of the stuns coming through from Quarter War. Like 1.4 seconds, you don't think it's much, but damn, those stuns are long.
It does seem like in order to get the maximum stun duration, you need a Shatterglass and a Crystal Bit. I think that's what Quarter War has done the maths, and that a Shatterglass isn't quite enough, so he's just gone for the Crystal Bit, and he's going to sell that later on in the game. And it's an interesting idea, but Defq is just going completely glass cannon. He is not going for any kind of defense. No block, no defense. 5 damage items, I'm pretty sure he's going to go. And Spaghetti's gone for the metal jacket and is fully built in terms of damage and defense. He just needs boots to finish off that build, whereas Defq still needs a tornado trigger and a bone saw, and his boots need to be completed. So Impunity want to scale this out to late game. The later on this game goes, the worse it is for Vox, because he's not going to get any stronger, and Kestrel is only going to get stronger. Same with Scarf. Now Impale and stun. That's so long onto SNK. He's just stunned for ages, but a double stun from the gauntlet. They happen to walk into it. SNK does not use the Crucible quite at the right time, and Defq is backing away with his Scarf. Kraken started up by Renegades. Kestrel one shot doesn't connect on Spaghetti, I think that might have hit, and now Vanguard over the wall does keep Uni a bit healthy. Quartervar just baiting out. Uni is going to fall for it, maybe walking into Defq. There's wait for it going to come through, and it's going to silence up Kestrel, but that's a lovely goof from Scarf, just stopping all members. That's a root, and it's going to be a stun for so long onto Spaghetti. The double stun from Lance is available if he gets the kill, and that is into the wall, but it dodges out the Spitfire because of that stun. Defq's going to fall. That's disaster for Impunity. That's a fountain for Renegades. Scarf has nothing. She hasn't got Dragon's Eye. She's going to go down. Quartervar can jump over walls if he gets energy, but he baited them. He didn't jump over the wall. He just ran away. There were 3 wolves on him now. What's he going to do? He's going to land quite long stuns, but I think he will die. That will be the ace, and it will be going over to Fortress. The Renegades take this Kraken and possibly look to win. I think Defq's going to go for the back door. I'm calling it now.
I'm not too sure about that. I mean, Defq can, but he do not have insanely long invisible timings because he's running that weapon build after all. So maybe he can try, and Defq is out, but he has to stop this wave from going through first. One shot, one kill, not able to secure Kraken. Probably hit Kraken as well. But maybe Defq, maybe you are right. Maybe Defq will go for that backdoor. Oh dear. This will be the play of the century.
Defq's not going to go for it. He has 3. He's going to back off smartly, repop his weapon infusion, and it's the boring play, but he is not going to win the game. There's vision, he knows there's vision, and now we have to see what is going to happen. Can Impunity turn this around? Can they defend this Kraken? As we find out, 5-0 First Legion won the 3rd and 4th place playoff, so they beat Elite 8 2-1. The surprise in the end, but now we've got this game. Impunity up against the Renegades. Can they defend this Kraken being pushed down? Gauntlet comes through, stuns up Defq, but he's going to walk out of it. No echo available for Arden, and Lance forced back into base. There were no walls to push anyone into. Uni's on the turret. Uni doesn't care about this fighting. Fox manages to get the Arden, so get the Lance in the base. Spaghetti, 16 breaking point stacks. He doesn't care about that Dragon's Breath. It just tickles. They're onto the base. Renegades are going to take this game 3 and the series 2-1. Defq's trying to do what he can. He gets him shut down. Uni's just baiting. Kraken's on the vein, and that will be GG to Renegades.
Wow, very well played to both teams. We saw some very peculiar, interesting, way to play Vainglory 3v3 coming through from the side of Impunity, but it just didn't quite pay off for them. I mean, yes, I know the idea is kind of there. We saw Defq trying to go and did actually went for that sneaky push. Took out first turret with a sneaky push, took out the second turret with a sneaky push as well. Tried going for the anchor, but it was just too far away. and just unable, got caught out, gave Renegades the ace, and Renegades from there just pushed to their advantage. Very interesting build as well coming through from Quarterboard. It Shattered Glass with the long stuns, long roots, and we saw it as well. The members of RNG, as long as they are caught out in those stuns, in those roots, they just stand there forever, and it was just so very easy for Impunity to capitalize on that. But the damage coming through from RNG is just too large, too tremendous for Impunity to just